health. Blueberries get the attention because they're loaded with anthocyanins, the pigments that give them their deep blue color. Anthocyanins are potent antioxidants, and critically, they cross the blood-brain barrier, which is why multiple studies link regular blueberry intake to improvements in memory, processing speed, and slowed age-related cognitive decline. One large Harvard study, following women over 70, found that those eating at least 1 cup of blueberries per week delayed measurable cognitive aging by up to 2.5 years. The effect isn't flashy, but it's real and it compounds over decades. Beyond the brain, anthocyanins support vascular health and can improve insulin sensitivity in people with prediabetes. A practical dose is half a cup to 1 cup a day, fresh or frozen, since flash freezing doesn't damage anthocyanins. Wild blueberries are more nutrient-dense than cultivated because they have more skin per gram. Toss them on oatmeal, blend into yogurt, or eat them by the handful. 2. Salmon, omega-3s and heart protection. Salmon's power is EPA and DHA, the 2 long-chain omega-3 fatty acids your body can't make efficiently from plant sources, like flax. EPA reduces inflammation. DHA builds cell membranes in your brain and retina. Together they lower triglycerides, reduce blood pressure modestly, and cut your risk of fatal heart arrhythmia by a meaningful margin. The American Heart Association recommends 2 servings of fatty fish per week, about 8 ounces total, which averages out to roughly 250 to 500 milligrams of EPA plus DHA per day. Wild salmon is leaner and has a better omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. Farm salmon is cheaper, often higher in total fat, and varies in quality depending on farm practices. Both deliver real benefit. Canned salmon with bones adds calcium. If you don't love salmon, sardines, mackerel, and trout give you similar omegas for less money and less environmental concern. Skip the fried version, it wastes the point. 3. Kale, vitamin K, and micronutrient density. Kale's real claim to fame isn't a single compound, but its nutrient density per calorie. 1 cup of raw kale gives you over 600% of your daily vitamin K, around 130% of vitamin C, a solid dose of vitamin A, plus small amounts of calcium, manganese, and copper, all for about 30 calories. Vitamin K is critical for blood clotting and bone mineralization, and newer research connects adequate intake to reduced arterial calcification. Kale also contains glucosinolates, compounds that support your body's own detox enzyme systems, along with lutein and zeaxanthin for eye health. Massage raw kale with lemon and salt for 2 minutes to break down the tough cellulose, or sauté it briefly in olive oil to improve digestibility and flavor. If you're on blood thinners like warfarin, talk to your doctor about consistent vitamin K intake, because wild swings in kale consumption can mess with your dosing. Otherwise, a cup a day is a cheap multivitamin. 4. Chia seeds, fiber, omega-3s, and satiety. Chia seeds are roughly 1/3 fiber by weight, which is extraordinary. 2 tablespoons give you about 10 grams of fiber, mostly soluble, which means it absorbs water and forms a gel in your stomach that slows digestion and sustains fullness for hours. That same serving delivers around 5 grams of plant-based omega-3s in the form of ALA, though your body converts ALA to the more useful EPA and DHA at very low rates, around 5 to 10%. So don't count on chia for your omegas. Count on it for fiber, satiety, and blood sugar regulation. The gel-forming property also makes chia useful for blunting post-meal glucose spikes when paired with carbs. Soak them for at least 15 minutes before eating to activate the gel and prevent digestive discomfort. Chia pudding with almond milk, stirred into smoothies, or sprinkled on oatmeal all work. Don't eat them dry with a sip of water. 5. Turmeric, curcumin and inflammation support. Turmeric owes its benefits to curcumin, the yellow compound that makes up only 2 to 5% of the root by weight. Curcumin is a genuinely powerful anti-inflammatory, but there's a catch. It's poorly absorbed on its own. Studies show curcumin bioavailability jumps up to 2,000% when combined with piperine, the active compound in black pepper. That's why traditional turmeric recipes and quality supplements include black pepper. For noticeable anti-inflammatory effects, research uses 500 to 2,000 milligrams of curcumin extract daily, which is far more than you'd get from sprinkling turmeric on your eggs. Cooking with turmeric still helps, especially in fat-based dishes like curries, since curcumin is fat-soluble. For joint pain, arthritis, or chronic inflammation, a standardized curcumin supplement with piperine is more realistic than golden milk. Don't expect overnight results. Studies show effects kick in around 4 to 8 weeks of consistent use, not days. 6. Green tea. Catechins and metabolism support. Green tea's active compounds are catechins, particularly EGCG, which has modest but real effects on fat oxidation and metabolic rate. A typical 8-ounce cup delivers 50 to 100 milligrams of EGCG, plus about 30 to 50 milligrams of caffeine. Studies show that combination can boost 24-hour energy expenditure by about 3 to 4%, which won't transform your body, but adds up over months. Green tea also contains L-theanine, an amino acid that promotes calm focus by increasing alpha brainwaves, which is why green tea gives you a smoother energy curve than coffee. For fat oxidation benefits, drink it between meals, not with them, since the catechins can inhibit iron absorption from plant sources. Matcha is powdered whole tea leaf, so you're drinking the entire leaf and getting 3 to 5 times more EGCG per serving. 3 cups of green tea or 1 teaspoon of matcha daily is a reasonable target. 7. Greek yogurt. Protein, probiotics, and gut health. Greek yogurt is strained regular yogurt, which concentrates the protein and removes most of the whey. A 6-ounce container delivers around 15 to 17 grams of protein, almost double what regular yogurt provides, with fewer carbs. It's one of the best high-protein breakfast options per calorie on the planet. The live cultures, typically Lactobacillus bulgaricus and Streptococcus thermophilus, support a diverse gut microbiome, though only some strains survive stomach acid to reach your colon. Look for live and active cultures on the label and a short ingredient list. Full fat versions keep you fuller longer because fat slows gastric emptying, and recent research doesn't support the old fear of full-fat dairy in healthy adults. Plain Greek yogurt has around 6 to 9 grams of natural sugar from lactose. Flavored versions often have added sugar pushing 20 grams per cup. Add your own berries and honey. Sky is the Icelandic version and even denser. 8. Garlic. Immune support and blood pressure effects. Garlic's benefits come from allicin, a sulfur compound that only forms when garlic is crushed or chopped, triggering an enzymatic reaction. Allicin has antimicrobial properties and, more robustly, blood pressure lowering effects in people with hypertension. Studies show 600 to 900 milligrams of aged garlic extract daily can lower systolic blood pressure by 8 to 10 millimeters per gram, which is comparable to some prescription medications. Whole garlic works too, but you need to let chopped or crushed garlic sit for 10 minutes before cooking, which lets the allicin fully form before heat destroys most of it. Raw garlic has the most allicin, but most people can't tolerate the burn. 2 to 3 cloves daily is the traditional dose for noticeable effects. Garlic also supports immune function, with studies showing reduced cold incidence and shorter cold duration in regular consumers. Skip supplements that don't list allicin potency ratings, because most garlic pills are weaker than fresh. 9. Oats. Beta-glucan and cholesterol reduction. Oats contain beta-glucan, a soluble fiber with some of the strongest evidence in all of nutrition science for lowering LDL cholesterol. 3 grams of beta-glucan daily, which is about 1.5 cups of cooked oatmeal or 1 cup of dry oats, can lower LDL by 5 to 10% over several weeks. Beta-glucan works by binding bile acids in your gut, forcing your liver to pull cholesterol from your blood to make more bile. Oats also have a low glycemic index when minimally processed, making steel-cut and rolled oats far better choices than instant-flavored packets, which spike blood sugar and often hide 15 grams of added sugar. They're also a solid source of magnesium, iron, and phosphorus. Add protein and fat like Greek yogurt, eggs, or nut butter to further balance blood sugar. Overnight oats work metabolically the same as cooked ones. Just watch portion size, because oats are calorie-dense. 10. Avocado, healthy fats and blood sugar stability. Avocados are about 75% monounsaturated fat. dominated by oleic acid, the same fat that makes olive oil beneficial. Oleic acid lowers LDL, raises HDL, and reduces inflammatory markers. One medium avocado also delivers 10 grams of fiber, more potassium than a banana, and fat-soluble vitamins E, K, and folate. The fat content slows digestion, which blunts blood sugar spikes when you pair avocado with carbs, making it a smart addition to toast or a rice bowl. A study in overweight adults found that adding one avocado daily for 12 weeks improved gut microbiome diversity and reduced visceral fat in women. One avocado is around 240 calories, so it's calorie dense, but the fiber and fat combination produces strong satiety that usually offsets the calories elsewhere. Half to one avocado daily is a reasonable dose. Guacamole with salsa is one of the best snack combos per nutrient value on the planet. 11. Dark chocolate, flavonols and vascular health. Dark chocolate's benefits come from flavonols, plant compounds that improve blood vessel flexibility and increase nitric oxide production, which lowers blood pressure modestly and improves circulation, including to the brain. You need at least 70% cacao to get meaningful flavonols, and ideally 85% or higher. Lower percentages are mostly sugar with brown food coloring. Studies using 30 to 60 grams of high cacao chocolate per day, about 1 to 2 ounces, show measurable benefits in blood pressure, insulin sensitivity, and cognitive performance on attention tasks. The catch is, 2 ounces of dark chocolate is around 300 calories, so treat it as a treat, not a health food to eat by the bar. Dutched or alkalized cocoa strips most of the flavonols, so avoid that label on cocoa powder. Theobromine in dark chocolate gives you a milder, longer-lasting energy than caffeine, without the crash. 12. Kimchi, fermented probiotics, and digestion. Kimchi is fermented cabbage, usually Napa, with garlic, ginger, chili, and seasonings. The fermentation produces lactic acid bacteria, including multiple lactobacillus species, that survive to your gut and help diversify your microbiome. A growing body of research connects microbiome diversity to better immune function, mood regulation, and metabolic health. Kimchi also delivers a meaningful dose of vitamin C, K, folate, and capsaicin from the chili, which has its own anti-inflammatory and thermogenic properties. 2 to 3 tablespoons per day is enough to get probiotic benefit. Look for unpasteurized kimchi in the refrigerated section because pasteurization kills the beneficial bacteria and the whole point along with them. Homemade or small batch brands are usually the best bet. The sodium is real, around 650 milligrams per half cup, so factor that in if you have blood pressure concerns. Eat it alongside meals, not alone, since the acidity can irritate an empty stomach. 13. Eggs. Choline, protein, and nutrient density. Eggs are one of the most nutrient-dense foods per calorie you can buy. One large egg gives you 6 grams of high-quality complete protein, about 125 milligrams of choline, plus B12, selenium, and fat-soluble vitamins, including D and A. Choline is critical for brain development, liver function, and neurotransmitter synthesis, and roughly 90% of Americans don't get enough. 2 eggs cover half your daily choline need in one stroke. The yolk also contains lutein and zeaxanthin, which concentrate in your retina and protect against age-related macular degeneration. The old cholesterol warning is outdated for most people. Large meta-analyses show 1 to 3 eggs a day doesn't raise heart disease risk in the general population. Pasture-raised eggs have slightly more omega-3s and vitamin D than conventional, though the gap isn't dramatic. Scramble them low and slow with butter for the creamiest texture, or jammy soft-boiled for salads. 14. Mushrooms, beta-glucans, vitamin D potential, immunity. Mushrooms are one of the only non-animal sources of vitamin D, which they produce when exposed to UV light. A serving of UV-exposed mushrooms can provide 400 to 1,000 IU of vitamin D2. Most grocery store mushrooms are grown in the dark, but you can actually place them gill side up in direct sun for 15 to 30 minutes and dramatically boost their D content before cooking. Mushrooms also contain beta-glucans, the same immune-supporting fiber family found in oats, but with different effects, activating immune cells like macrophages and natural killer cells. Shiitake, maitake, and reishi have the highest beta-glucan concentrations, Ergothioneine, a unique antioxidant found almost exclusively in mushrooms, concentrates in your body's tissues and is being studied for longevity effects. Cook mushrooms thoroughly to break down tough cell walls and release nutrients. Sauté in olive oil or butter over high heat for the best flavor, and don't crowd the pan. 15. Lentils, plant protein, fiber, and blood sugar control. Lentils are one of the best plant-based protein sources pound for pound, with 18 grams of protein and 16 grams of fiber per cooked cup. They're rich in folate, iron, magnesium, and polyphenols that support cardiovascular health. The fiber content, mostly soluble, slows glucose absorption, which is why lentils have one of the lowest glycemic responses of any carb source. Studies show that replacing half a cup of rice or potato with lentils can reduce post-meal blood sugar by 20% or more. Lentils also contain resistant starch, which feeds beneficial gut bacteria and produces short-chain fatty acids that support colon health. They cook in 20 to 30 minutes without soaking. Unlike most beans, red lentils break down fast and work in dal or soup. Green and black lentils hold their shape for salads and sides. Rinse well to remove grit, and cook with aromatics because plain lentils are bland. None of these foods is a cure or a magic bullet. Every one earns its place because it delivers specific compounds in meaningful amounts with real mechanisms that hold up in research. Build your week around several of them, and you're eating better than 95% of the adult population without thinking about it. Ignore the marketing around the next exotic berry, the next ancient grain, the next trending adaptogen. The real answer has been sitting on every grocery store shelf for decades. Fiber, protein, healthy fats, probiotics, polyphenols, spread across colorful, minimally processed foods, eaten consistently over years. Everything else is seasoning.